A father had this routine with his son that he would tuck him in every night. One night, the boy asked the father to check for monsters under the bed. This is what happened. The house was quiet, not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that settles in late at night when the world feels like it's holding its breath. The father stood at the end of the hallway, the soft yellow light from the living room stretching across the wooden floor behind him. It was late, almost midnight. Most nights by this time, the entire house would already be asleep. But there was one thing he still had to do. Every single night, without fail, he had to say goodnight to his 7-year-old son. It had become their little ritual over the years. If he forgot, even once, his son would toss and turn at night, convinced that something in the dark was waiting for him. So the father sighed softly, rubbed his tired eyes, and walked down the hallway. Each step creaked slightly beneath his feet. When he reached the door, it was already slightly open. A dim night light inside cast a faint orange glow across the room. He gently pushed the door open. His son was already in bed. The blanket was pulled up to his chin. The boy stared toward the doorway, waiting. But the moment the father stepped inside, he felt it. Something was off. He couldn't explain it. His son looked normal. The same messy hair, the same small face half buried in the pillow. But there was a grin. A wide, devilish grin. Too wide. It stretched from ear to ear, showing rows of small teeth glowing faintly in the dim light. The father paused. Something about it made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. Still, he tried to brush the feeling away. "Hey, buddy," he said gently. "You okay?" The boy nodded slowly, but the grin never left his face. Not even for a second. Then the child spoke. "Daddy." His voice was quiet, almost too quiet. "Can you check for monsters under my bed?" The father chuckled softly. It was something his son would ask from time to time. Just part of being a kid with an imagination. "Of course," the father said. He walked over to the bed and knelt down. The wooden floor felt cold against his knees. He leaned forward and slowly lifted the edge of the blanket hanging off the mattress. Then he looked underneath, and his heart stopped. Curled up against the wall beneath the bed, shaking, pale with fear, was his son, his real son. The boy's eyes were wide with terror. Tears streamed silently down his cheeks. He lifted a trembling finger and pointed upward toward the mattress above them. Then he whispered, barely loud enough to hear, "Daddy, there's something on my bed." The father's blood turned to ice. Slowly, very slowly, he began to turn his head. Because upstairs, above him, the bed creaked.